Today we got Domkowski and David leaves LA home. So, I guess David doesn't want to stay in that house that he stayed with the underage girl with? Huh. Probably because he sees your ghost or something. But, you know what, I'm not even going to say anything. But, David does say, it says right here, David flees $20K a month home after odd music video shot just weeks before a girl found dead in Tesla emerges. This was released just today, by the way, y'all. September 23rd. So today's September 23rd. I'm going to be posting this.
News that David is moving out of the LA home that Celeste was supposedly murdered in and is leaving after the house was raided just a couple of days ago.
Of course he's going to leave, though.
And this whole case is not looking too grey right now. They found this little girl dead in his car, who he was clearly in a relationship with. They sweeped his house, belongings, electronics, yet no arrest. And I mean...
That's what I'm saying. How does he get not arrested yet? How is he not arrested yet?
Makes sense. How can the police arrest this man if there is no cause of death to the victim and no direct evidence linking him to the murder? I mean, right now, David is chilling, playing Fortnite, and just finding a new house to stay in. Clearly not a care in the world. So yeah, let's go into that and see what the people are saying and find out, is David even going to be arrested? So David has just been kicked out of his LA home in Beverly Hills.
Oh, he was kicked out.
As their lease was broken after the raid from the LAPD. So as you can see from this article, David mystery deepens as he suddenly breaks $20,000 lease on home raided in Dead Girl 13 investigation. David and his manager have abruptly broken the $20,000 a month Hollywood Hills
$20K a month?
lease
crazy.
Just days after police raided the property in connection with the dismembered body of a missing teen found in his Tesla. The home's owner has told the Daily Mail. So this home in Beverly Hills wasn't actually owned or rented by David. It was actually rented by his manager at his label Interscope. Presumably because at the age of like 18 or 19, he's 20 now, but I'm presuming he got the house like a year ago or 2 years ago. It's kind of hard to get a lease when you're young, even though he's probably making like upwards of hundreds of thousands or even millions per month. It's kind of hard to get a lease. And yeah, his manager, the home was rented by Burke's manager, Josh Marshall. So LAPD officers stormed the property on September 17th, seizing bags of evidence, including a laptop. I'm presuming they took all his electronic devices. I'm not sure why they would only take a laptop, because there's also probably a lot of evidence on his phone, like all his texts, calls, stuff like that. Police confirmed the raid was tied to the disappearance and suspected murder of Rivas, which is Celeste, though no charges have yet been filed. So the homeowner, Mladen Trifunovic, it's a very European name I think, said Marshall signed the lease in February 2024. So yeah, they got the home a year ago now, over a year ago now. The same month, Rivas was first reported missing from her family's home in Lake Elsinore. That is a very weird coincidence. What if the whole reason David got this home was because he wanted somewhere to hide Celeste and he wanted to spend time with her? Because I think previously he was actually living in New York, so he's from Texas and then he moved to New York and then now he just came to LA, I'm presuming in the February of 2024 as this is when he got the home. She briefly returned but was reported missing again in May. So that actually lines up with the fact that she ran away first, which I'm presuming she went to David, and then the police got to his house, bring her back, and then she went back again and was reported missing again. So Trifunovic, the owner of the home, told the Daily Mail that following last week's raid, Marshall asked to terminate the lease and has begun moving out both his and Burke's belongings.
Oh shit.
Now this is weird. So the manager also had his belongings there. So it's clear David...
So his manager must have knew something.
His manager were living inside this Beverly Hills home, which makes you question, surely the manager knew about this little girl, Celeste. Because if they were both living there together, Celeste was inside.
He had to have seen her at one point.
Inside that house. It's confirmed, there's pictures, there's videos. So the manager knew about this? Surely he knew her age. I mean, she looks like a little kid. And he didn't question why this little girl was
hanging with David,
staying in that house, probably sleeping there, probably sleeping with David, and nobody bring it up. This is a really big deal, guys, because this makes him a co-conspirator. It's a big deal. This is a manager.
He's not gonna get charged though. I feel like Hollywood, they do this a lot, and I feel like there's a whole ring of people, not just David. It's a lot of people that are okay with it or will turn a blind eye. For
at
sure.
Interscope, one of the biggest labels in the world, and one of their employees was, I mean, David's an employee of the label too, so both of their employees were facilitating the grooming of a kid, something along those lines. You get the point. That's why I think the investigation has taken so long, not only because they got to arrest David, but also all the people around him.
Interscope just keeps taking L's.
Question them too. So the owner of the home said they are moving out this week, the moving trucks will be here soon. They've decided to move out because of the ongoing circumstances. They didn't want to be there anymore, said Trifunovic, adding he had no idea who Burke was. So Burke is David, so it's clear that he had no idea that David was actually living there. He thought it was only the manager, or that he was living at the home until his real estate manager told him about the raid on Thursday. This has all been such a big shock. I'm still trying to process everything, and I'm anxiously waiting for the story to conclude itself. It's very disturbing. So Trifunovic is the owner of the home. He's an AI developer and crypto investor, hasn't had any direct contact with the LAPD, and isn't sure what was found inside the home or what kind of tests were carried out. So this is the manager Josh Marshall, who it seems like knew about Celeste since he was living in the home with David, and Celeste was inside that home too. This guy needs to be charged too. What, facilitating the grooming of a kid? This is the home, obviously a very expensive house in the hills, presumably
For an expensive house, the backyard is relatively, or actually, nah, that shit's huge. That shit goes from right here to right here. Never mind.
Seeing what, 10, $20 million? So yeah, the marshal, the manager, negotiated to break the lease amid the ongoing investigation. Okay, so it's a $4.1 million home. I thought it was a lot more since like, it's in the hills in LA.
Damn.
I guess it isn't like a super mansion. It is like a pretty much a ordinary house. Not an ordinary house. It's quite, luxury, but it's not very big. There's not a lot of land. It's quite tight. And even look at the street. It's like a one-way street.
That's what I said. It was kind of tight.
It's unclear whether the detectives plan to return to the $4.1 million home, which actress Halle Berry once owned, property records show. Now that's the thing I'm most confused about, is how are they going to move out, and are they even allowed to touch the property? The police have already done a sweep, so...
Do you know what a hostile workplace looks like? It can be verbal threats and intimidation, undeserved demotion.
So I'm presuming they've already got everything they needed. But if I was the police, I thought the cops would force them to move out so they can have full control of property, so they can swab everything and make sure they've got everything they need. But no, it seems like they're leaving, which is another weird thing. I'm presuming we're gonna get some shots of David from paparazzi soon, because if they're moving out and there's gonna
Oh yeah, for sure.
be moving trucks, you already know like TMZ and what's like the paparazzi.
They're all waiting outside.
People called like the Hollywood something. They're gonna be camping outside of David's house, trying to get some good shots of him. Unless they do it at like 4 a.m. But still. And where are they gonna go to? Because surely their name is like all over the internet right now. So any property owner, I'm presuming they're gonna do like a background check. They're gonna
You're just gonna go back to his house.
The person who wants to lease their building, and they're going to check they're part of an ongoing murder investigation of a little girl. I don't know where they're going to go. Is David going to go back to Texas? Okay, so he was actually born in New York, but then moved to Houston, Texas when he was 13.
He's probably going to go back to New York.
And then now lives in LA. So the owner of the home said, like everyone else, I want to know who is responsible for this and how a little girl's disappearance could slip through so many layers of responsibility. Are more people responsible for this? Them, the immediate ones. Who else is to blame? So you see, the owner of this home is very smart. He knows that it isn't just David's fault.
Even the homeowner said it's not just David.
It's the managers, his friends, the people who are staying at that house also.
His friends,
it's terrible.
people.
You never imagine for 1 second that a property you own could be dragged into something like this. But it's a very safe neighborhood with lots of security. The police will have plenty of surveillance footage to work with. Now guys, this is where I start to begin to think, is David going to get away with it? Because if they've already found a dead body in his trunk...
I'm thinking David might get away with this. I think the higher-ups want him to get away with this.
They sweeped his house. Surely there's blood in his house.
Like the higher-ups are trying to create a story, are making up a story to see what they could say to make David look good.
Surely there's her clothes in his house. I thought after they sweep his home, they would arrest him the next day straight away, because they would find something that would break this case in his home and that say he's arrested. But they've sweeped his home, they got all his stuff, whatever. Now he's moving out and it seems like he's fine. What is going on? He's playing Fortnite. He doesn't care. On Monday, a spokesperson for the LAPD said the investigation into Reeva's death remains ongoing and detectives are currently following up on several leads. So the police are working, I
What
guess.
lead?
We just have to
What
wait.
more leads do you need?
Time will tell. So here we have a Reddit post, David broke his lease. What do we think about this? Once again, screams guilty. The only innocent argument I can think of is the fact that his address has been doxed. But why are you spending 20k to break the lease when you can just get a new place or hotel? I'm not sure what this guy means. I think he got the information a little bit wrong. But the reason is he's leaving, yeah, because he's been doxed. Paparazzi are probably camping outside the place. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy that owned the property kind of forced them to move out because he doesn't want those kind of people living there. And then also a hotel is expensive. But yeah, they are going to get a new place. So he just cancelled his tour. His reputation is ruined and he's going to need an endless amount of money for bail if even given one. Allegedly, they found some other place. Possibly didn't want to get doxxed and harassed. The doxing mixed with whatever advice he may or may not be getting from a legal team, pressure from the property owner, there's many reasons to get out of your lease early, plus the monthly expense of living in that place was a whopping 20k, he isn't spending 20k to get out of the lease. Smartest thing to do if you know you'll be getting free housing for the next 3 years minimum, jail awaiting trial. That is kinda smart. My bet is you'll see him sell off unpaid things or break other leases. To be fair, that is probably what his legal team have told him, like they're going to arrest you, you're going to be in jail for a minimum of a couple years whilst awaiting trial because he won't be getting bond. You never get bond for murder. If they arrest him for murder, that is. But then also, I don't think money is a problem for him, but it is stupid to have a 20k lease when you're in jail. Because the guy, even though he's a terrible person, he's still insanely rich. If you check his career, the other day, I think yesterday, he had the highest streaming day of his career. He had 12 million streams in one day, which that already equates to like 50k, I think. So he made 50k in one day, which is 2 months lease. So, you know, he's fine for money. Even before the arrest, he was such a big superstar. Another post, David is moving. So here's a person questioning the manager. So the manager rented the house in his name and actually had belongings there, but he probably didn't know about this little girl.
That's what I'm saying.
He definitely knew about the girl. With David's lease ending, the Europe tour, and the finding of Celeste, does anyone think the timing was set up for him to be in Europe when she was found and disappear off the radar? No, the dude clearly wasn't thinking at all. Allegedly, there is a text conversation where he claimed to want to be in the Australian stint of his tour when he was found, but that is speculation and could be misinformation. I honestly do think it was coincidence they found her when they did. David didn't lead them to the body, as some people are theorizing that he led them to the body so they can find her on her birthday because they found her a day after her birthday. I also think they found her way earlier than whoever did this was prepared for. I think if him, I know, then he wanted more distance time before reporting the car stolen, as both of these would have afforded more plausible deniability. I think
David's got to be reading these messages.
Something went wrong in moving her, stealing the car, quote unquote, and there was still two who thinks he just didn't think at all, because if you killed a girl and you actually planned it, you're not going to hide it in your car, unless the plan was to hide it in your car to make it like so obvious and then just say like, oh no, that's not me, this is so weird. Because right now it's kind of going in his favor, because if they can't find a cause of death, you know, did he stab her, whatever, then they can't arrest him for murder if there's no cause of death and there's no like DNA on her body that it was who it was. Now here's actually a really good in-depth post talking about why he's not arrested yet. There's a reason he's not in custody yet. Everyone keeps asking why David hasn't been arrested yet, because it seems obvious that at the very least he was having a romantic / sexual relationship with a minor. But the reason police aren't rushing to arrest him isn't because they're incompetent or planning a cover-up. It's because all the evidence currently available to us is considered circumstantial. See, now that's what I'm saying. So even though, yes, they were together, we can see from the post, if you go to
pictures, there's streams, there's messages, what else do you need?
Court of law.
The mom even said that she had a boyfriend named David. What are the cops even more?
You can't prove that just from the posts we've had so far that he actually...
They had matching tattoos.
Drove her from her house and...
How did they just get matching tattoos?
Kept her in his home in LA. Sure, they're together in pictures, but how do we know that in those pictures she wasn't with family members? And We just can't see them. Stuff like that. Circumstantial cases can sometimes fly in court.
Oh,
but
this shit gets
David
me.
is
This shit
rich
gets me mad.
and will surely have a lawyer that could crush a weak case in seconds. They need to have a strong case built on physical evidence before David becomes anything more than a person of interest. DNA, computer files, fingerprints, and trace analysis. They have seized electronics from the home he was renting, where the Tesla was recovered before the impound yard, and searched the premises for anything that could tie David to her murder. They're likely combing through hundreds, if not thousands, of messages and files. I'd say even more. DNA, trace, and fingerprints have to process in a lab, which could take time. The coroner still has not even released a cause of death, but apparently the autopsy is complete. As it says, Celeste's remains are ready for release back to her family. This means they are either holding out on making that public, like they could be with much more, or that her body was in such a state of decomposition that they could not determine a cause of
Ooh, I feel like they're gonna put that they could not determine a cause of death.
which makes a court case really difficult. Now that's what I'm saying. He literally, like, it's in his favor right now, because how can you say he killed her if there's no stab wounds, there's no, like, I don't know, a broken skull or something along those lines, you know? Again, I'm not a lawyer, but how can you say you killed someone when there's no proof that he killed someone? She was found in his car, sure, but anyone could have put her there. Casey Anthony got away with murder in
And anybody could have chopped her up.
2008,
That's what I
almost
don't
solely
get.
because they could not prove a
How
cause
did she end
of
up
death.
chopped up?
So a million different stories could get spun as to what really happened. These police know that this goes beyond taking him into initial custody. They're preparing for the inevitable murder trial that cannot afford to be a flimsy case. I agree with some of that. However, coming from former LE, like law enforcement, finding a dead body in someone's car is not circumstantial, it's direct
That's what I'm saying.
physical evidence. Yeah, but you can't really prove he's done it. It's physical evidence, but only one piece. Casey Anthony, like I mentioned, had direct evidence that her daughter's decomposing body was in the trunk of her car, and she was still acquitted. Beyond a shadow of a doubt needs to be proven. Like, sure, they could arrest him right now without a doubt, but could they actually make it stick? Definitely not. And it would make the LAPD look very bad if David beats the charges because they haven't built a proper case on him. People often seem to underestimate
Yo, I'm gonna be pissed if they don't even arrest him though.
how
That's what
slow
I'm
the
more mad
process
about.
goes. There was a murder near where I live, and it was so obvious the husband did it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if it was a regular person and a murder, and if I had a body in my trunk, bro, I'm getting arrested that day. That day. There's no, hold up. Hold up. Did you actually do it? Hold up. Bro, I'm getting arrested. I'm getting put in jail until proven innocent. That's how the law is supposed to work. Not prove guilt, then take them. That's not how the law works. It's you take them, then he works on proving innocent. Y'all build y'all case. It's not. This is bullshit.
Everyone online was putting the pieces together for 3 weeks before they finally made their arrest. They gathered the evidence, let him talk himself into a hole, and connected the dots to the point where he would never get out. That's what they'll do. Once he's arrested, it'll take another year before it goes to trial too. Again, I've repeated this so many times. They need to build a insane case, so much evidence that once they show it to David, he's like, yeah, I'm cooked. And hopefully he takes a plea deal for life in prison, but the plea deal is so he doesn't get the death penalty. Something along those lines. Absolutely, they haven't arrested him yet because they're still waiting on all the reports
Some
to
bullshit.
come in, like toxicology reports, if one was ran. So I think toxicology is like if she was pregnant, if she had a kid, like her blood work maybe. Again, I'm not too sure, like her hormones possibly, something along those lines. They have to investigate David's digital footprint, which is massive, and his friend/circle during Celeste's time period. So yeah, they're going to be checking all his texts, all his online posts, where was he, like his phone, like, you know, it bounces off the antennas, like the phone signals to figure out where he was. And again, they're going to be interviewing his manager, his friends, people at the label, because people knew about this girl, yet nobody wanted to say anything. Investigate the family's digital footprint. Was the family receiving money? Were they in contact with David? Track all his movements from the time he met Celeste to her demise. Look for clues in his music. Make sure they find all of his victims. Depending on what they'll find affects exactly how David will be charged, and that list of charges will be long. He left behind too much stuff, through arrogance. That's another good point. I just don't think he ever thought he would get caught with the girl, not for the murder. My point is the fact he's so famous and has so much money, he thought, yeah, I can be with this girl, who cares? I'm David, no one's gonna say anything to me. This is my theory. This isn't the first time doing something like this. His family and friends knew of the relationship and knew
for sure they knew
exactly the ages of everyone involved. That's the thing. David spoke publicly that he's in a relationship, so surely people asked him like who his girlfriend is.
Yeah, who's his girl?
His girlfriend, like, is she okay? Or maybe he kept it on the low and didn't tell anyone apart from his close circle in LA. So this is the family, which is Celeste, the Celeste family. The family encouraged this debacle because they believed they had a collar struck black man on the hook. What the hell is collar struck? Hook, and David was about to hit the jackpot and they could cash in, which they did. So yeah, that goes with the theory that David was paying them and that the family actually encouraged a relationship because it would save the family from poverty, because Celeste came from a very poor area with a lot of crime. Celeste was getting thousands from him, which can be proved as in a screenshot. There's a screenshot.
Oh shit, how many racks can I have? Give me 10 bands right now. Damn.
Celeste asking for 10 racks and David sent her 9,000. They basically pimped her out. They didn't know he was a psychopath, although him going after little girls for romantic partners should have been a huge red flag. I think he strangled her. He was very violent from his lyrics I read. Guys, he's not rich. Just because he's famous does not mean he's rich. I mean, look, I'm going to show you guys this.
He's rich. He's rich. All these streams, no.
I'm going to bring up his streaming stats. So of course, he's
like,
rich, what, 10 million, just taking like a thousand millions. Drop the video there. Let me know you guys' thoughts. Do you think David will be arrested? I'm not asking do you think he did it, because I think we all know he.
I don't think he'll be arrested this week. Probably in the next 2 weeks. I think he'll probably be arrested, but I don't think this week or next week. But the following, they're gonna get him. Yeah, they're gonna get him. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, shout out to Dom. And R.I.P. Celeste. R.I.P.
Bye, have a great time.